Hey, what's going on? This is Daryl McCullough, founder and starter of StartASoberLiving.com. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 50 things I wish I would have known before I started a sober living from somebody that actually knows. Yours truly. Okay, so for those who don't know me, back in 2020, when everybody was shutting down their businesses, I decided to open up one. So essentially, I opened up Sober Living during the pandemic. And you got to think about it. This was a community-based organization or business. And essentially, people were trying to get out of businesses like this. It created a niche market and a unique opportunity for me to be able to thrive in the business. So essentially, I got a contract through a few people or through a few companies for $55 per day. For those who don't know the math, that's roughly around $1,700 per month per bed, right? I had 20 beds. I got approved for 20 beds. So we're looking at somewhere like $34,000 per month, right? And so what I want to talk about is how we can help you be able to do that. But I wish I had a mentor. I wish I had somebody that could be able to show me, to tell me what to look for, what to do, right? I think that would have been a game changer for me, but I didn't have that. You do in me. And I created a course that can be able to help you, guide you through so that you can be able to start your business and hopefully scale past the 4 houses that I scaled up to. And you can with this course and with what I'm going to share with you today. None of my stuff is like super fancy. I got a regular light. I got a regular camera. But what I do have is I have the information because I have been here before and I'm going to share it with you today. So what do I need you to do? I need you to go get a pen. I need you to go get a piece of paper. I need you to get comfortable. And I want you to go ahead and I want you to learn from my mistakes and from my successes. Okay? Because I made a little bit of both. So I got my paper. I'm ready to go. I hope you are. And we're gonna start this thing. Okay? The first thing I wish I would have known is how much money you can actually make. Like I said before, I didn't know that it was possible to make $34,000 helping people who needed a place to stay. I did not know that. I wish I would have known that because it would have helped me probably get into the industry faster. And so what I would say for you is that there's a lot of money to be made, but you're going to have to make sure your business is structured in such a way that you can be able to go after the bigger amounts of money, right? Because you can do a regular $600 per bed, right? Or you can do $1,700 per bed, or you can do what I did in my luxury SLE where I was doing $4,000 per bed. It's just really what you want to do. In regards to what I believe, starting slow, getting in the middle, and then maybe if it makes sense, going to the next level. But that's really going to be on you and what you want to do. Okay? The beautiful thing about the online course is that it will help you structure your business in such a way that you will be able to go after any amounts of money and even go after the higher luxury SLE amount of money as well, which we will get into. Also, if you haven't liked and subscribed, please subscribe. This really helps with the algorithm. It helps me to be able to find my audience, people like you who are serious about alternative ways of holding real estate. Please, real quick, subscribe and hit the notification button. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. That meant a lot to the channel and to StartASoberLiving.com. So next, we're going to talk about some of the basic stuff. I'm not a CPA. I'm not a tax attorney, but when you're making that type of money, make sure that you have some things in place, like somebody to help you with your taxes, because It's a lot of money. And a lot of my people, a lot of my students, they are coming from a place where they had regular jobs, right? And they weren't business owners. So what I want you to do is make sure you put some things in place so that you can be able to make sure your taxes are taken care of. Okay. It's a no brainer. You want to do it. You can do it. I believe in you. Okay. Next is the critical need for paperwork. This is super important. You just want to make sure that you have your paperwork in place, your intake packet. I was talking about the good neighbor policy, drug screening and testing, and the drug testing policy. And it goes on and on. There's just so many things. In the online course, we provide you with what you need to be able to have an intake packet so that when you come in, you're covered. It covers all the legalese that you need. And so it's perfect, right? So what I want you to do is know that is there and know that you'll be taken care of once you decide, if you decide to move forward with becoming a student of mine and making that decision to pull the trigger, okay? And start a sober living environment, okay? I want to talk about the huge amount of freedom that takes place as a result of starting a sober living. So you have to understand that when it comes to starting a sober living, you'll probably have a manager. That manager will take care of 85% of the day-to-day interactions with the clients. If this is your only business, you're going to have some free time. Make sure that free time is channeled back into your business. It's easy to get sidetracked. And so I want you to realize when you're getting into this, there's going to be a lot of free time. And so I did it all, right? I went to all the biggest boxing events because I'm a boxing fan, a boxing fanatic. But the bottom line is I want you to be able to channel your energy. I wish I would have understood time management a little bit better. Just getting honest, being fully transparent. I wish I would have had more time management. Okay. That's okay. And that's what I'm here to help you with as well. Okay. Other things, you must control your program's population, right? It's your job to make sure that the guys or the gals in your SLEs, depending on whoever you want to serve, because that is your choice, but make sure that you are having strong boundaries with the people that are in your house. Like, they're going to try to test you. They're going to try to say, hey, you know what? Is it okay if I do an overnight at my girlfriend's or my boyfriend's house? You're going to ask yourself, what's in the best interest of them? And sometimes it doesn't make sense going over to a girlfriend's or a boyfriend's house when you only got 15 days clean or sober, right? In any regard, what you want to do is focus on making sure that you are helping them stay clean or stay sober. And how we do that primarily is by making sure that they're in that house and that they're following the protocol that you set forth in your house. And we'll talk more about that. I don't want to linger here too much, but just know that it's your job because it's your program. Now, you will have a house manager that can be able to help you with a lot of these things, but you want to make sure that you're setting strong boundaries, okay? This is another one, right? External agencies may try to control your house. Be very careful of this. When you get started and you'll get a contract, or at least I'll speak for me, I got a contract and they started saying, hey, you need to have Wi-Fi in the house and you need to, if someone uses, you need to keep them in the house. And I was thinking to myself, if someone uses and then they spread drugs around the house and then it's not one person that's high, it could be 4 or 5 people, that was going against my better judgment. Make sure you not only have boundaries with the people in your house, the guests in your house, or the participants in your house, but make sure you're having boundaries with those external agencies that are referring people to you. And I get it. There's a fine balance because you're like, I just got this contract. It's a great contract. I feel amazing about this. But you want to be careful because you are ultimately in charge of that program, right? And so there's been times when I had to let certain external agencies that I've worked with go because it just didn't make sense for me in the clientele that I was serving and the program, right? Overall. So things that you want to look for, you want to look out for, okay? You'll need to have multiple refrigerators. This is just a no-brainer. I remember thinking that one refrigerator would be enough. It is not enough. One refrigerator is not enough, especially when it's like 10, 15, 20 people. So we go over this in the online course on exactly how many you need to have, right? Per resident. The right intake process matters. There's the paperwork, right? And then there is the process. There's a process of the initial drug test, if you're going to do that. Obviously, the paperwork. But not only that, where you're going to do it, the full process of taking someone that is coming out of, maybe they're coming out of prison, maybe they're coming off the streets, into your business. You want to make sure that is done right. And so in the course, we'll go over all of that. We'll go over the best process for washing clothes before they come in, making sure that we take care of any potential bug infestation. Don't get spooked, but you want to make sure all of that is taken care of. And there are things that we can do. There's things like the bed bug zapper that we implemented that really helped. And there's some other things, right? So I want you to be aware that in this course, we're going to show you everything that you need, okay? Finding good managers is not easy, but it can be done. And you want to find somebody that is in recovery, someone that has leadership skills, and we show you where to look for them at, because it's not easy. It's not easy. And I realized that would be a really big thing to look at. What we also did is we put in a house manager contract for you, where you'll have all of that information as well. And that's really helpful. Okay. So you will definitely be able to have that. Where we at? Money management is key. You want to make sure that as this money starts to flow in, that you have somebody like an accountant present that can help you not only pay bills and different things like that, but also scale your business. We help as much as we can. Ultimately, you're going to need an accountant with this, but it's just something that I wish I would have known before going into starting an SLE, okay? The time investment is heavier at the beginning. Like any other endeavor, it's going to be heavier. You're going to have to secure the location. You're going to have to get ready for inspections. You're going to have to get niche-specific SLE insurance. You're going to have to find the house manager. You're going to have to connect the SLE to the outside community. You're going to have to do all of these things, right? But it is fun, but there is that time investment initially. You can always pay somebody to be able to do this. It's something that I think in the beginning, you kind of want to be involved in. Ultimately, this is your program. This is you deciding what makes sense for the people and the population you want to help. So that's really good. Also, fulfillment will sneak up on you. This is a big fulfilling type of business and industry. There's people that are going to come into your SLE and they are going to get better and they are going to move on with their life. And you're going to be like, I miss that guy. He was such a great person. And that's part of the business. It's part of the business. It's like a teacher-student dynamic, right? And so just prepare for that. But it does feel good. It feels good knowing that you're not just making a dollar, you are making a difference. You are effectively helping the community. Most people starting out don't have a mentor. I think I mentioned this in the beginning, but you will have someone, you will have me, you will have those videos if you decide to purchase a course. What I will say also is that for those who decide to purchase the course right away, what they'll get is they'll get 2 months of support from me or one of my team members. Right now, it's for sure going to be me, but as it speeds up, it will be 2 months support probably from one of my team members. I want you to feel good knowing that it's just not going to be just an online course. You will have either video support or you will have tech support. We want to make sure that we take care of you because I get it. This is a big investment. It's not cheap, but it is worth it. You'll have that mentor. Getting contracts can supercharge your business. And I was talking about this, like you want to have contracts. You do. I think you want to have a mix. I think you want to have 700, 800, 600, whatever you want to charge for your beds. I think you might want to have a couple of those. And then you want to have the contracts, right? Where you can see up to, depending on where you are in the country. In California, they just passed Prop 1. So Prop 1 is allowing you to charge insurance. So meaning that there's a lot more money, right? To the tune of, I believe, and don't quote me, like $100 per day. So that would be like 30 days. You got 10 beds, you got $30,000, right? You got 20 beds, you got 60,000. So it's there. But wherever you are in the country, there are different organizations that need your business. And that's what I want you to be aware of. And I want you to be able to know that this is a viable business. And I wish I would have known that, you know what, they need me. Like when I first started, it was like I signed up for the contract and they would start calling me, right? And they were like, hey, you got a bed available? And I was like, I don't got a bed available. And then I got another contract and then they were like, do you got a bed available? And I was like, I got beds available or I didn't have beds available. But the bottom line is there is like this stream after these contracts of people who are calling me daily. So it wasn't like I had to always be looking for people to go into my SLE. In the beginning, I feel like as I was letting people know and building contracts and building rapport, yes. But as it went on, it was like people calling me and saying, I got 2 people. Do you got 2 beds? I got 3 people. Do you got 3 beds? This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is you're building a business. And as you build this business, specifically with this business, I believe you can do very well over time. Because remember, this is built on homelessness and addiction. So like that cross reference of homelessness and addiction. And so both of those are huge right now. They are just, they need your help. They do. Okay. So I want you just to be mindful that this is a business that is needed. Okay. Starting. The next one is a big one, right? There's stress. Trust me, there is stress. And I want you to make sure that you have things or people or whatever it is that will reduce your stress in place. You want that in place before you even get going. You want to be able to have those things in place because you just never know. You don't have to worry about any type of ailments or anything like that because you have a stress reduction plan in place, right? Get that in place. And also, if you're in recovery, right? And I have a lot of my students that are in recovery and they're like, I'm gung-ho about starting this business because I want to give back to the community that has helped me. And that is noble. And I love that. Make sure that you're doing step work. Make sure that you're having sponsor contact, right? And the same thing for the people who are not in recovery, but who want to do this. Make sure that you have a priest or someone that you can really connect with, any type of mentor that can help you, guide you through. Stress reduction is so important and making sure you have time for you. I found myself working out and it worked. Inspections are real. Inspections are real. So you're going to have the fire inspection. You'll have a certification inspection. You'll have some inspections. So what I want you to do overall is just know that they're going to be there. Know that the course is going to be able to help you. So you won't have to be like, oh my God, what do I do? Stop. We got you. We're going to be there for you. This online course will help. And then you'll have the support too. So you'll be good. Real quick. If you haven't subscribed, if you're getting anything out of this, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe real quick and hit the notification button. I want you to be a part of the Starter Sober Living family. I'll wait. Thank you. I appreciate that. Helps so much. It helps with the algorithm. It helps with the channel, all of it. Okay. So next, people can pass away in your house. This has happened to me multiple times. Don't freak out. It's part of having a business that deals with the community and in housing people. It's just something that we have to be aware of. And it's sad. We notify family. We do all the things. We notify the authorities. We do all the things that we need to do. So just know that's part of it. I think I knew that could happen, but I think when it happened, I wasn't fully like, whoa. And it wasn't even like I was at the house. The house manager called me and said, hey, Daryl, we had somebody pass away. And I'm like, oh, my goodness, okay. And we just did the next right thing for the next right reason. And then that was it. Okay, so it happens. Not a big deal, but I want you to be aware. Which brings me to, you'll experience bittersweet moments. And I touched on this because you're going to have people that are going to pass away, people that go back out, commit crime, people that go back out and use drugs. Just be aware of it. Know that it can and does happen. Don't get caught up in you being responsible for their recovery or their relapse into bad behavior. Your job is to provide a place for them to stay and to structure it in such a way where you're making sure it's a safe place, where it's free from drugs. That's your job. That's your scope of practice. Anything outside of that could be deemed as a different type of business. You provide housing, right? That is what you do as someone who owns a transitional living or a halfway house or a sober living, okay? Manager pay must be fair but strategic, right? So you want to make sure that you are paying them what they're worth, and where I send you out to, they will help you, guide you through, right? They're really good at that. So don't worry about that so much yet. I'm saying that you won't deal with that. Just know that they bill per action. And we talk about that in the course, right? So don't worry about that. You'll be fine. You'll be good. Okay. You must have specialized SLE insurance. We show you where to go in the course. That is all in the course. Don't worry about it. You're definitely going to need the niche specific SLE insurance. You will have to set boundaries and enforce boundaries. It doesn't hurt to go over it again. You're going to have to enforce those boundaries, not only with the people in the house, but even with house managers, even with outside agencies. So just know that. Marketing is essential. The next one, marketing is essential. You want to make sure that the marketing that you're doing is strategic. I love marketing. So you're going to get a ton of tips and tricks on how to be able to get your SLE out there and be able to be known. So I'm going to help you with that. So this course, that's one of the areas where this course excels. Okay. So just know that maintenance is nonstop. And when I think of maintenance, I'm thinking of when someone comes into your house, a participant, a guest, when they come into your house, they're signing an agreement to be willing to do chores. That keeps the house, the business maintained on the outside and on the inside, because they have to clean up their space of where they are and dishes and different things like that. So that's one of the things that some people are leery of. They're like, man, I don't know if I want to do this because what happens if my property gets messed up? And I'm like, that's not how it works. Like, your house is well maintained as long as you have a good house manager that is making sure that they are doing their chores. And who's holding that boundary of, hey, did you get your chore done? Then you need to do that first before you're watching TV, some of the basic stuff. So just know that your house will be maintained and or your property will be maintained, and it will. You are not just running a house, you are running a mission. And I like that. Getting that mission statement, getting that vision statement in place early on, like any other business, is super important because it's ultimately that mission, that vision that you want to see come alive. And you can. And ultimately, I had mine created and it was a game changer for me. You are definitely not just running your house, you are running a mission. The legal side can bite you. So you want to make sure that you're doing everything by the book. When I help with the certification process, there is a specific place that I work with, a group of people that I believe in, and I've been certified with these people that I want you guys to benefit from as well. So I work with you, I send you off to another group to work with, and they are really good. Okay? In regards to talking to some people are like, do I got to talk to my neighbors? Do I got to talk to the city? Depends. Normally, when I've started, I haven't had to talk to the city, haven't had to talk to my neighbors. You just want to make sure that you're not in a homeowner association. As long as you're good there, you're pretty much solid. I would check with local zonings because that's the smart thing to do. Go down to your local zoning office, wherever city you are located at. Check it out, double check, make sure. But for the most part, because it's covered under the Americans with Disabilities Act, you should be fine. Yeah. So don't worry so much about that. Some people are like, man, can I do this? More often than not, you can do it. Even I was doing it in an HOA, but then I started getting the letters. And it just made sense for me to be like, I'd rather move forward doing this. I would rather do this somewhere where there wasn't an HOA, right? Homeowner association. There will be time when you'll be like, what do I just, man, this is rough, man. But don't give up. Do not give up. This is a great business and it is a needed business and it's a lucrative business and it can be a stressful business. And so we talked about that, having some type of stress reduction plan in place. And that's something that I really highly recommend. Okay. So that's something I wish I would have known going into it. It probably would have been a complete game changer for me. People might question your motives. Oh man, is this just about money? And so when I first started StarterSoberLiving.com, or when I first started my first SOE, people were like, is it just about the money? And this is near and dear to my heart, right? I love helping the addict get clean and stay clean. And this gave me an opportunity to be able to do that. And yes, there is money that can be made, and there is nothing wrong with that. I would much rather someone start a sober living or a halfway house than an Airbnb. And I love Airbnb. Shout out to Airbnb. But people need help. And so there's not enough to go around. That's one of the reasons why Prop 1 got started. Prop 1 got started because they didn't have enough housing. They needed more funding for housing. And so I believe that's going to be the domino effect. Like, I believe insurance and SOEs are going to not just be in California. I think coast to coast, we're going to start seeing sober livings and insurance companies. And this is the best time to get involved with that, right? So just want to throw that out there. Yeah. So people might question your motives. Don't let that stop. Period, point blank. Okay. This is not a rehab. This is not a rehab. A rehab is actually called an inpatient treatment facility, usually. That requires going through the state. That requires a ton of paperwork. That requires 24-hour managers on site, a doctor, all that type of stuff. This right here is a sober living environment. And so that doesn't require all of that. It just does not require you having all of that, which I love. I super duper love that that's not required. You may have to kick people out of SLE. It's part of the business. Someone uses, someone says, no, I'm clean. You test them, you do a drug test, and then all of a sudden you find out this guy has been using, this girl's been using, they have to go, right? And you're like, oh man. And normally a good house manager normally takes care of this. It might have to be you. And if you don't feel comfortable, you can say, hey, you can leave, or I can call the cops. I much prefer you just leaving. But inside of the course, I talk extensively about this and exit strategies for participants who aren't following the rules, right? Because it's not just if they use, if there's any violence or threats of violence, they're out. If they use, they're out. If they're not following the rules, they're out. And we go over all of this. So this is another good point where the course, along with the support for 2 months, is really going to be able to help you. Okay. And you're going to have people that will try to manipulate the system, which brings me to my next point. They will. It's just the nature of it. Don't freak out, but don't be manipulated either. Just be like, hey, you know what? This is the rule. I know you're trying to bend the rule, or you don't even have to say, I know you're trying to bend the rule. Just, hey, this is the rule. If they don't want to comply, I understand. There's an at-will eviction piece, and it's not eviction. I don't want to say eviction. It's not. In the contract, when they sign the contract, there's a piece in there where they know that if they don't follow the rules, they leave. They are a guest in your home and can be let go or terminated at any time. So just know that. Some people are saying, oh my God, if they're getting mail there, they have to stay there, blah, 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 blah. For me, anytime somebody, whether they were getting mail there or not, broke a rule, they were out. And I never really had any problems with that. As long as from the beginning, you set that standard. And we talked about that in the online course. You'll form deep bonds with some residents. And you will. There's going to be people that might be using it to manipulate. They want to get close to you and they want to help you. You want to make sure that you are staying professional as a SLE owner, operator. You want to make sure that you're staying professional and you keep that boundary, even with the people that are trying to be nice, because sometimes there's alternative motives. This business will grow you. This business not only will grow the people in it, if it is effective, it will grow you. It will have you start looking at things different. The people that come in, as they grow, they're going to teach you some things. They will teach you some things, and you will be able to teach them some things. And I think a good house manager will also help. I also believe that you should go to NA or AA. I think you should do what we call a 90 and 90, even if you're not an addict or an alcoholic. I really think you should. And it's because you want to know the people that you are working with. You want to know their struggles. And I'm not saying you go there to like spy on them. I'm saying you go there for your own experience with that. You never know what may happen. You never know, because there's some magic in those rooms. Trust me, your brand matters. It can make or break you for sure. So you want to make sure that you are someone that is recovery focused, that your SLE is recovery focused. What do I mean by that? I'm meaning that people are going to meetings regularly. Like you can set, now you can't have certain type of meetings in your house, but you can have them go out to meetings, right? And you can make it a stipulation that they need to go to 4, 5, or 7 meetings a week, 1 meeting a day. Just depends on you. In the course, we'll talk about this, what works the best, because you don't want to put too much on their plate, but you don't want them not going into a place of recovery. But it doesn't always have to be NA or AA. It can also be the mosque. It could also be the church. It can be a temple. But you want them in a place, in an atmosphere where people are getting better. So important. Okay. So things you want to look at, things I wish I would have known, right? When I was starting, be ready for midnight calls. Be ready for midnight calls. Be ready for, hey, we had a guy that relapsed. He came home drunk. Okay. You guys got it? Normally I'll be like, do you have it? Meaning I'm talking to my house manager. And if he's no, I need you to come over, I'll come over. And then normally we call the cops or they just leave. Not too hard, but I think when you're first starting, you're going to need like somebody that's a consultant, somebody like me who's already been there. Okay. And so you have that. You're going to have to train your staff regularly. You're just going to have to do that. It's like super important. And it could be on a host of things, like making sure that they get really efficient in being able to bring people in. The onboarding is going to be super important, or making sure that they understand the various parts of the intake packet and drug testing, all of that stuff. There's a section in my online course called the Train Up, where I help my students on the day-to-day operations of their business. So don't worry about that. The online course is going to cover that. Remember, this is a people business, right? You're dealing with people. You're dealing with people who are struggling. You're dealing with people that need some kindness, a little bit of understanding, right? You want to have that. So just throwing that out there, right? Where are we at? Real quick, subscribe, please. If you're getting any value out of this, I'm taking my time. Help me help the other people in the country who are serious about starting up a sober living. Okay. So photos and videos build trust. I talked to you that I love marketing, right? So photos and videos are super important. Be very careful. Make sure you come up with some type of an agreement with them that they're okay with that. I would not just anybody's photo or any video, just anybody just because, but getting written testimonials, getting video testimonials, photos before and after. If they're okay with it and they comply with that, I think that's great. That's building a business. It's building a brand. And yeah, I think that's a great idea. I really do. Building your brand. That's what I did. That's exactly what I did. Partnerships will make or break you. When I first got in, I didn't understand, but now I understand you need to have partnerships with other sober livings, because they may have a guy that another SLE may have a guy where he is not a good fit, but he comes over to your SLE with your house manager, with you, with the guys in the house, and it's a good fit. So you can have that exchange of referrals and be able to learn from the other SLE, right? The other SLEs in your local area. So super important, okay? Compliance is your best friend. You might even want to get a compliance officer if you're not the follow-up and dotting the I, crossing the T type of person. You might want to have a compliance officer, somebody that maybe someone in your family, someone that can make sure that emails are sent back regularly, especially when you're building these relationships with all these contracts out here. They're going to want you to comply. They might want you to take some light notes on the clients that they send to you. So just know that, right? And know that we go over that in the online course, and we'll also go over that when we have the one-on-one meetings. We'll have a couple one-on-one meetings after you go through the course, just to make sure that you don't have any questions and all of that stuff. Compliance is your friend, and partnerships are super important. You will grow your network if you stay consistent, and that's big. I recommend you going out and start building in the community that you're in. Start getting the word out, start going to local events. All of those things are super important. They create something, right? So you definitely want to have that. Don't overfill your house. Dignity comes to mind, right? You want to make sure that you're getting the right amount of people. And we talk about what that sweet spot is, right? We talk about that in the online course. So don't feel like, oh man, but I want to make sure that I have enough people. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. I'll be able to help you. The course will be able to help. So you'll be fine. Trust me. Be humble and teachable. Be humble and be teachable. I like my students to come with pen and paper. And I always tell them, do you got your pen? Do you got your paper? Because how I teach is like more hands-on and from experience. I do have an SOP of what I'm going to take you through, not only in the course, but when we start working together. Ultimately, be teachable. Come in as a blank slate as you can. I work with people who have done regional centers before. And so, like, they have some information, but when they remain teachable, it helps because this is a little bit different, right? Just know that. Don't be afraid to start small. Like, even as we're going for contracts, maybe you're going for insurance, you're like, I want to do the insurance thing. Don't be afraid to start small. Don't be afraid to start with the $700-800 private pay person that's coming in to get started, right? It's still more than what you would cash flow if you rented it out the traditional way. It's worth it for sure. The first resident changes everything. And I still remember the first resident, but not only that, I remember his father and his mother and how grateful they were of having a place where their kid could be able to go and get better. It's a remarkable business. It really is a remarkable business. And the people that will come in and out and the laughs that you'll share. I remember getting a van and we would go out to different places. I'm from Stockton, California. And so you got Sacramento up I-599, and then you got the Bay Area over the Altamont. And so we would be going to meetings in the Bay Area. We would go to meetings in Sacramento, all over the place. So it is fun. For those who are like, hey, I'm doing this for a business, that's great, but they're getting a lot out of it. They're getting a lot out of it, and it's worth participating. Maybe not every day, but it is worth participating. It is. It is. What else? Know your numbers. Know your numbers, because you want to make sure you understand. You want to make sure you understand the bottom line, because you want to grow it. You want to grow it. I want to see you guys not only just get one SLE, get 2, 3, 5, 10. It's a great way to hold real estate. So say you buy a house and then you turn it into an SLE and then you get another one and do the same thing. And you can do that. I didn't even know that in the beginning that once you get an SLE, so like you buy a house and then after you buy the house, you can essentially lease the property out to your business and then take that lease to someone that's a loan officer. And essentially you can be able to buy another house as long as, it's leased out. So this is something you can keep doing. You can build a good real estate portfolio and help a lot. So definitely worth it. This might become your life's work. I like this one. It might be something that becomes your life's work because at the end of the day, you're like, I'm making an incredible amount of money. I'm helping a lot of people. I have a lot of time now. You might not want to do the 9 to 5. I had a teacher, Alicia. I love her. She's out in California, out in Stockton. She's a teacher. And eventually she had 2 houses that was left to her. She converted both of them into sober livings. She's making great money now. And she effectively quit her teaching job. And now she does sober living like full time and loves it. And she has the demeanor for it. So this might become your life work. You never know. I want to take some time to talk about the course a little bit. So there's 4 modules. The first module is the assessment, where we assess your property, make sure it's a good fit and things like that. After that, we have the setup, where we essentially set up your entire business. Everything from niche specific SLE insurance to making sure you have those intake package that we talked about and everything in between, like your certification, just everything, right? And then after we get that going, we go to the fill up, where I teach you everything that I did to not only start, but scale up to 4 SLEs and keep them full, right? So there's a lot of marketing, like what I talked about, different things that have worked for me that you'll have access to that no one else will have access to. And then lastly is the train-up. Essentially, what I do is that I teach you on the day-to-day operations, you and normally a house manager, so that you guys can work together as a team to keep the SOE flowing and going. If you got any value out of this, imagine what would happen if you bought the course, got the consulting with me, right? That support, and you were able to start a sober living in that home or in those homes, right? That you're thinking about purchasing or the ones that you have. I think it'll make a difference. I really do. If you would like to go ahead and purchase the course, you can go to startasoberliving.com. You will essentially click courses. It's in the lines in the upper part of the screen. And then you would go ahead and scroll down. You would hit buy course, and then you would be able to buy the course. We have something really special. We have where you could be able to buy now, get access now, and then pay over time. This is a new feature for the Start a Sober Living course, right? Transforming rentals. I think this is something that will help a lot of people because you can get going and start making the money that you need to make and then essentially cover that monthly cost. So it's a win-win situation. Ultimately, that's it. My name is Daryl McCullough. If you have not subscribed, you can subscribe for me because I think this is the game changer, right? This is the game changer. And that's really all I got. If you have any questions, if you got anything out of this, write something in the comments if you have any questions. If you want to go and buy, you can be able to buy. It's really easy, like I said before. And I hope this video helped you guys. I think this is where the country is going. I think the old traditional way of renting out single family home has a purpose, but this right here for the real estate investor who's a little savvy and who would like to see bigger returns and help people, this is a no-brainer. So I'm signing off. If you have any questions, you know where to find me at. You can go to startasoberliving.com and get going. All right, you guys. Talk to you later.